Today is June 15th, 2006. I'm Charles Harrell in Old Town, Maryland, interviewing Mr. Donald Haugh. Mr. Haugh, can you state your full name?
Donald William Haugh.
And what is your current address?
17500 Old Town Road, Southeast.
Where were you born, Mr. Haugh?
Old Town, right here.
And when were you born?
March
March 31st,
1920.
1920.
March the 31st.
1920.
I know 1920.
Now you pay attention to him and you can answer him right.
What company were you in, sir?
G Company.
Of the what infantry?
14th.
What division? 71st Division?
71st Division.
You fought in Europe, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to Panama first. And I forget what.
But you were in Panama?
Oh, yeah. We were in Panama. And
then you were in France?
oh, yeah, we were in France.
And Germany, right?
Well, Germany, up to whatever. I can give you the thing, and you can see everything.
Tell me about your life growing up in the 1930s, Mr. Haugh.
Well, she knows as much as I do about this, because she ain't as older, but I've told it so much. I was born, like I said, the 31st, and we lived here all of our life. And
Were you in the same place as you live now?
no, we lived down the road about, right in the middle of Old Town. The house isn't there anymore.
Who was your parents? What were their names?
What was Daddy's name?
John?
John William
Yeah.
Hall. And my parent,
Mother was
my
Blue
May Rickenberg, all from, some of my relatives went, Utah or someplace, and got stuff from different, whatever. And what was I going to say?
Were they Mormons?
Huh?
Were they Mormons?
No, but you can go there and get your
Family history?
yeah, and so
They were Methodist.
huh?
You were Methodist.
Methodist, what you call them?
Growing up in a small town, it must have been difficult when the Great Depression came around.
Wasn't a bit depression. We didn't know.
You didn't know the Great Depression was happening?
We were poor, so we didn't know.
My daddy worked for the B&O, so he did have a job, see. But we had a place, we had a farm. And that's part of what I wanted to say. It wasn't like today, we knew everybody. And we didn't lock our doors. We didn't see a key to the house. Everybody was friends. It's like you hear people say today, at that time, you trusted everybody. And I lived here, like I said, all my life, and hunted and trapped and fished. I hunted and sold rabbits, and squirrels, trapped whatever I could, and made a living, all of us together. Like to say, we had the farm and we could feed ourselves.
Did you have a lot of brothers and sisters?
I had 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
2 brothers.
Huh?
You only had 2 brothers.
Well, I was counting myself, I guess. I said 3.
Were you in the middle of age?
I was March 31st, 1920. It was my birthday.
Did you have older brothers?
Oh, yeah. My oldest brother, I don't know how old he was. But he was the oldest. And then my next one was a sister. And the next one was a brother. He was 7 years older than me. And then my sister, she lives in Martinsburg. And she's 2 years younger than me. And I guess.
But during the Great Depression, you were living on the farm.
Oh, yeah. See, we didn't even have a road. Just a dirt road. I didn't know. You know where Paw Paw, West Virginia is? I didn't know it was one.
So you didn't travel very far.
No, you couldn't go no place because you had to. Then you had to. If anybody wanted to come to Old Town, you had to come down the Western Maryland Railroad. You see it, you know. And then they'd come down on the B&O. You come across to the Royal Toll Bridge. You know where the toll bridge is? And he'd holler, and the guy would come down and get the boat, go across, and get him, bring him over, and then take you back. And like I say, until we had this road, we had to go across the river and go down that side to what they call, I think, Okanoke. You can go down there, and you can see when you're going town Crook Hill. That's what they call across the river. There was Okanoke.
Did you have electricity in your house?
Oh no. And better than that, we had the big mantle lights. You know what I'm talking about, them? A mantle lamp. They had the big, and you light them things, and I mean they would kerosene, and we still use them. And
you mentioned your dad worked for the railroad.
yeah.
Did you get to travel the trains much?
Well, later on we did, yeah. So you could get free with him working for the railroad. If we wanted to take the train, we'd go free. You know, we just like now. I can hunt on the place, unless they change it now. They're supposed to change it, and you're going to take it away from us. You heard that, I guess, you didn't, in the paper. They say they can take it if it. That's what they told us. If we want it, or if they want it, they can take it because they figure they can do more, use it for better the country than I can. Ain't that a hell of a way to live?
During the Great Depression, your dad worked for the railroad. What did he do for the railroad?
Well, first he worked for the Western Maryland, a signal maintainer. They went around and checked the boxes that had batteries in them for the signal to go up and down. And then, I guess, then when he went to the B&O, he went in the Carpenter's gang and B&O because they had a furloughs or something just like they do in season. He went to West Virginia and worked in the B&O.
Was he old enough or too old to be in World War I?
Too old.
He was too old?
Yeah. My uncle, he was a John Rickenberger. He was what do they call him? Cavalry officer in in the Civil War. See? And he lived through it and died. I mean, he died just like everybody else. But,
were you close to your grandparents?
Yeah, I wasn't to him because I never seen him. See, he died before.
Right.
We went up looking at the grave the other day. We take flowers up, but so I never seen him. But what? Now he would trap turkeys and sell them or use them or whatever. You know, make traps. That is, you cut poles and make. Just like you've probably seen the crates you put chickens and stuff in. Where you make them and make a little groove under them and high in that turkey would pick corn and go under it. Just like a chicken. See, we was on the farm and chicken can get in the garden, but he can't get out. He got sense enough to get up and fly out. But when he goes under something, he picks it along, then just goes under the thing. And then when he gets done eating, he looks around, he can't get out. And if you got them crossbars on the top, he has to stay there. My aunts would go and get them, take what they wanted, one or something like that, and eat it. So, and it's like I said, you never seen today you can drive any place, and if there's any woods, you see no trespassing somewhere. We wouldn't have known what it was if we'd have seen it.
During the Great Depression, Franklin Roosevelt was president, and he came up with the New Deal.
Yeah.
The CCC and the WPA and a lot of other things.
I remember the CCC, but I didn't get in that, see, because like I said, I didn't have to do that. Because we had our own place and everything, so. I was in school, and I graduated. When did I graduate, Hazel? I'll have to get my book.
38.
Huh?
38.
38. And and let's see, graduated in 38. And that's like I said, and when they
What job did you get when you graduated?
didn't have any,
No job.
no, I trapped. You trapped and hunted, so you sold foxes and stuff like that, birds, or fur-bearing animals, and then I'd catch fish in the spring when it's coming up. See, they're suckers. They're called. They're not a game fish. And you could, of course, we didn't have no game wardens or nothing. and the people that taught school, some of them was above Frostburg. See, they'd have to stay down here, of course. You had to wind around this road and go over the hills and back. So they'd stay down here, and I'd clean them and give them so many fish for 50 cents. Whatever they wanted, didn't make any difference. And then we sold, like I said, we sold rabbits because they had to stay, and they had the boarding houses they stayed in. And there was a big house down here, where about the middle of Old Town, where it goes up over the hill, and people had apartments there. And you wasn't afraid of nobody because nobody was going to bother you.
You never thought about leaving Old Town to find a job?
Oh no, wasn't any job. Wasn't any jobs till, I guess, a little bit before the war they started. But more when the war started, see, I was working in a store down across from where the schoolhouse is. I got a job in there. I forgot about that. And there's where I was working when when they called me for service.
Were you drafted?
Yeah. Yeah. I was in the second draft.
The war had not started
Oh,
yet.
no.
How did you feel?
Nothing.
Where did you have to go to report?
Cumberland. And what's that woman's name? This is I can't think of her name now. She's the one who signed my papers. And like I said, I remember Roosevelt had his name big and a picture, you know, and we need you. And that's all we need. And I was worked in, like I said, the store. And when he called me, I just went in. And she signed me up.
Was your parents politically active? Were they into politics? And
No. The only thing they did was vote, I guess. I don't know. I guess they voted. I don't know anything else. But when I come back, I'm getting ahead of myself, but it don't make any difference. And I went back, and the same woman filled out my papers
for discharge.
Huh. And she said, you know why you went so fast? I said, no. She said, guys like you didn't have to be trained. Played cowboys and Indians and cops and robbers. But y'all had guns, hunted squirrels and stuff like that. And I guess that's right.
Were you a good shot as a kid?
Well, I guess. I don't want to say it, but I guess it's one of the best.
When you signed up in Cumberland, they sent you somewhere for boot camp.
Yeah.
You remember where?
What?
Where you were sent to boot camp?
Yeah, Macon, Georgia, Camp Wheeler.
You've never been that far away from home, have you?
No.
Do you remember that first day of boot camp?
Very little, I guess, because it wasn't anything. We didn't care. You didn't think it. Never. You know, things like that then, you didn't have all this. If we'd had television and newsmen, we'd have lost the war when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Because when we left Camp Wheeler, well, we were supposed to, after you did so many days, or so many weeks at once, I forget what it was. See, he was allowed to, we were going to discharge him. One guy was discharged, and he went home. And in 2 days after they bombed Pearl Harbor, he was back in the same bed he left. And but it's like I said, people never thought about it. We just something we had to do, I guess. I mean, we didn't know any different.
Were you physically fit then?
Sure, that's the reason they took me. This is like Mrs. I'll probably think about it correctly. I can think of things, and you've heard me talk about her, Mrs.
What?
The woman that signed me up.
Cheney?
No, Cheney. But anyhow, it's like I said, you didn't argue with anything, and whatever you told, you done. It's like when they told us, I was just thought, well, going into war, what's that? And it don't bother you. We wasn't afraid of a gun. We lived with them.
Did you do a lot of marching in boot camp?
I guess we did a lot, but like forced marches and stuff like that. I forget, 25 mile most like that. And I can remember we had a lieutenant about the size of me, and I was in pretty good shape. And he would lead it. And he would, now they don't do that, but they didn't do it after that. But he would carry the same pack you did. See, then they put 90-day wonders, and they didn't do nothing, and didn't do nothing. You've heard of them, I guess. But I thought that when they'd put us fall out for a small break, you know, one side, he'd walk up one side and down the other and check the guys. And I thought, well, if you can do that, I can do that.
Did you want to become an officer?
No, you don't want to become anything. And why would we want to? We didn't know the difference. You just had a man to tell you what to do. It was better than it is at home, because you didn't have to think. I say this a lot of times. I didn't have to think for anything. You know, they put the same clothes on, and you get up at the same time, you eat at the same time, and what was it? I mean, you just oblivious to everything around you. You were just a soldier.
After boot camp, where did they send you?
I don't know. I was trying to think of that a many times. Someplace you probably know more about that than I do. We went down around where they had that flood.
New Orleans?
New Orleans, where they were shipped out of that camp down there, wherever it was.
Okay.
What was the Dickens was? No, I can remember there was a Red Cross women there, and they gave us a little jigger of coffee and a donut. And see, when I went in, that's another thing. It was almost all Southerners, and they kid us, you know, me, because they say, well, would you drafted or what? And I said, no, I was a handcuffed volunteer. And that's what it was. When we was going up the gangplank, I turned around, and I said, they was playing Yankee, so the Yanks are coming, the humdrum. And I turned around and I said, come on, fellas, you can go with me. I'd tell them Yankees.
Did they send you down to Panama after advanced training?
Yeah.
What did you like? What did you excel in? What was good about the Army for you?
Well, all of it, I guess.
You were good at it?
Yeah.
Which weapon did you like to use the most?
Browning machine gun, yes, caliber 30, 1984 air-cooled, bell-fed, recoil-operated, mounted on M2 1942 tripod, 600 rounds a minute, and I had the Springfield rifle. See, we didn't have the M1, we didn't have that. And we had the old 45. Wasn't the one they got now, the semi-automatic. It was just the one you had to use what do they call them? had to put that thing in there because the shells was made for automatics, see, and this was another thing. But they didn't stay very long. They took them things away from us to give us the semi-automatic 45. You know what that's at.
You were sent down to Panama. Was that after Pearl Harbor?
Yeah, they sent us just as soon as they bombed Pearl Harbor. They just come over there and said, when I call out your name, go over to the company commander. And they didn't say what they was going to do or not. We just went over there. That's what you did. I mean, there wasn't no argument. And we went over there, and we figured they was going to send us someplace where it was cold because OD uniforms. We didn't have camouflage or nothing like that. We just took off. And there's where we went to Panama because they thought Panama was going to get hit next.
Where were you when you first heard the news of Pearl Harbor?
Oh, I guess we was, I don't know whether we'd already eaten breakfast. And it didn't, nobody got excited. Nobody cared about anything because you didn't know any better. You was used to, just like I said when I went to school, you said you went to your country's, or to a school's auditorium, you sang the country songs, you had the Lord's Prayer, and you said yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am. That's the way you were raised. I mean, we was as honorable as anybody. But you still, and you didn't have police around here or nothing, but you still was learned to obey people. I mean, when you was told something, you done it. So what? So that's the way you did it. That's the way life was. Look what shape we're in now. You didn't have people doing the stuff that running around doing it. You know what they did when they killed you?
You went down to Panama on boat?
Cattle boat.
Did you get seasick?
Oh my. If I'd have got any sicker, I'd have died. See, the cattle boat was just a boat. They had rods up in the inputs. Like them, just like a thing you get between two trees and get in, hammocks. And there's a guy with me from Miles Leak from up at Cumberland. And he got sicker than a pup, and I told him, I said, well, that's because, I said, you didn't hunt, and you didn't fish, and you didn't swim. I said, and you're never on a boat. And the only boats I was in was Daddy's boat, and when I trapped and fished and stuff like that, but kidding each other, we had a good time, and that's the way we went. But when we got to Panama, see, they gave us khaki clothes. Did you find the picture? You'll never find it.
I found the book.
Huh?
I remember when I gave your picture back to you. I don't know what you done with it.
And
But I got it there in the book, and I got a little one that I had.
but
How was Panama for you?
Panama was a good place. I never thought. The next time I thought, Panama, I thought about it a lot. But I mean, when they went over after Castro, wasn't it, or whatever they happened, and the Howard, I think it was Howard base, and they had them in that skirmish that they had. They didn't have our and the reason they did it was because who was the president? Truman was the president, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He gave it away when he gave the canal away. So the only thing was left over there was a air base was there, and ours was going. So.
How long did you stay in Panama?
Oh my.
A long time.
In their good time, but we went and searched the islands or whatever you call small places where see, we was the same as rangers. We was handpicked. And that's all we knew. And we would hunt them places like like they got Kennedy out of trouble, you know, when he was away. See the.
Were you hauling along this big 30 caliber air-cooled machine gun at the time?
Oh yeah, you lived with them things. You kept, if you eat, you was with it. Even when after war was, not war wasn't over, but we went to Germany. When you went to a place to eat, you took that thing with you. You took everything with you.
Were you the gunner?
No. All I was a gunner. But then I took over the platoon. And
what was your highest rank that you got?
tech sergeant.
But in Panama, you were just a private?
No. I was private for a while, but then I got, I had some old pictures and everything of in Panama. I had the machine gun. I like the machine gun. I collect guns. I got a room full of them. But your gun was the only thing, I don't know how you'd say it. You took care of that thing better than you took care of yourself.
Did you get sick in Panama from malaria?
No.
Did you see anybody sick?
Well, I seen pictures a little bit of sick, but I ain't never seen, I know when I went in the jungle, I grabbed a little branch, because I'd been in mosquitoes around here, you know, and do that in just a couple of minutes. I threw that thing away, the devil with it. Come what may, you just go. And but I got hit with a what's that thing that hits you with his tail? Scorpion. But they gave me some medicine. I was trying to think of many a time what kind of medicine. I know they give you the same medicine for everything. It didn't make any difference.
Probably penicillin. That's what they did.
Hard to tell what. But sometimes I remember. But they give you, but it didn't make any difference, I mean. And you didn't cry like that these guys does today. It's like I said, they'll go in the army today and even they'll be out with a nice suit on and everything. I never even got a suit when it was over.
You didn't get Class A uniform?
No sir. They gave me an Eisenhower jacket as big as that. And I come in with my combat ODs and shoes the same way. You didn't get I didn't get half of the ribbons or nothing. And they said, well, they didn't. But when you didn't sign up for 3 more years, they knew when you come home you wasn't going to have them, so they just didn't give them you much. You just.
After Panama, did you come back to the States?
Yeah. I got my discharge from
When did you go to Germany?
come out of Germany.
Yeah.
Or France.
But after
Camp
Panama,
Lucky Strike, I think it was.
After Panama, did you go directly to France, or did you come home?
No, we come home, and we got with, like I said, with the others and made this new outfit.
What was the new outfit called?
This is what we was. Only we, like I said, we're special. That's the way I said it, because just like the Rangers is. And we come into.
You went to Laharve, didn't you?
Yeah, Laharve, France.
Did you go to England at all?
No. I was never in England. I was never in any place, only Panama. And didn't go any place when I was there, because they thought they was going to get attacked, and it wasn't anything in Panama anyhow. There wasn't nothing there. You had a PX is all, and I don't guess that was very much.
As you went into Laharve, France, and you walked across France.
Yeah. Well, see, we was in combat there.
Tell me about some of your combat.
Well, ain't much to tell you. Only just to go, you got in trouble. And it didn't like I said a many times, we didn't do like they doing today. It looked like walking up and down the same road and getting in trouble the whole time. Now, when we was combat in France, you would you would go till you got in trouble, you know. Well, like for instance, we knew we was going to have a town or a city or whatever, so you sent a jeep with maybe 2 jeeps most of the time with 4 or 5 guys in it and an officer or 2 officers, and you go and look at that town. And if they had a white flag, that meant they surrendered. Then you would go into it, and if it didn't surrender, then you shot the devil out of it. I mean, you attacked it. Now, if they surrendered, then that was all right. There wasn't any fighting. But very few times, that's the way I said it. When just like one time, we sent 5 jeeps in. 1 jeep got back with a driver and one of our men, and he was shot through both sides of his rear end. They ain't nobody give you any trouble after that. I mean, you went in for something. See? I mean, you started right there. And
can you describe a close call in combat for you?
Well, when
you had shrapnel wound, didn't you, in your arm or something? You had some shrapnel. That stuff that hit you, didn't you?
Yeah, well, that was 1 piece of shrapnel. I got a piece of shrapnel. But we was, and that was dumbness. But we took this town, or thought we had it. But I treat I'd like to have that map.
What
Because
map are you talking about?
I don't know, but anyhow,
I don't have none of that stuff.
I think it was on the Rhine. I think it was the Rhine. But anyhow, we were supposed to go across the Rhine, and we got up so close, and they told us, "Now hold down, just stand here." And so when we done that, they said, "Your job is to make a lot of noise, just like you're getting ready to go across it." And my bivouac area was a big building, and it was all champagne. Ain't that what they call that high-priced stuff? And I mean, it was a big thing, big building, like a big barn. And everybody got 2 cases. Sit on one and drink one. That was crazy stuff. I don't know where mine went, but I took a few drinks and I didn't like it, so I laid down one sleep. When I woke up the next morning, the only people that had champagne was the people that sat on it and kept his gun loaded. And but our job was to make a lot of noise. We'd go down and shoot across there and act like we was gonna make the landing, cross it there. And anyhow, I didn't make any difference. But the guys that had it, I mean, like they kept it. And I used to think about champagne before I ever went over there. You see, we had a picture on a magazine, and the man and woman.
How you doing?
Huh? Oh.
Huh?
And so they said we must have done enough of a good job. See, the 42nd, I think it was 42nd Midwestern Division, was supposed to make the initial crossing, and then we were supposed to go after they started, because our job was to drive them down to us, and then the 42nd wouldn't run in so much trouble. See, they were so. But anyhow, it just shows you how the news will travel. Everybody that, like I said, that didn't have any champagne was because he sat on it. But how the news got around, I don't know, because they said we didn't have to make any trouble or any noise, because every vehicle, they said, like they told us, we'd get maybe a tank or whatever, we get a lot of trucks and just keep ramming them, and all just noise, all noise you can make, so they'd make them believe that. And the Germans would come down, congregate there. But it's funny how, I guess, we didn't have radios and stuff like they got now. They had that big thing you had, and half the time it was like that new telephone they got, what wasn't fit for nothing. And that helped. And then when the 42nd started across, then we started across. But in my map, now they'll show you just little things like that. And where we crossed there, they put that champagne picture, that champagne bottle, and stuff like that. It's a nice map. And and then I don't know where we went from there, but you went through till we got to Linz, Austria. And I told you about that. And that's where we finished up at. And we was 10 miles from where they fried the, where the German and where they killed all them people and had the ovens and stuff like that. And
The concentration camps.
it was a concentration, but there's where they had all them bodies and stuff thrown in boxcars. And did you ever see a picture of that?
Yeah.
All right. You see, MacArthur, no, not Eisenhower, wasn't either. All right, so he took and made them, the Germans, as much as he could get them, and made them go through and see that thing, because he said 20 years from now, he said they would never believe it.
Did you go see it?
No, I was 10 miles from there, but I never got to see it. The only thing we got to see, they would come through with the ones that was able, I guess you would say, and had them in a truck, but they told us not to feed them because it would kill them. So they took someplace. So they was, I know we was having a hot cake and something, and that was about all we had.
Were you wounded?
No, just got a scratch.
Well, how did that happen?
Well, I could, if I had that picture, I could show you. We took this little town, and in fact, there was a bench there or something, and Shannon Thomas from Birch Tree, Missouri, and I crawled up, the picture of us there, on what, I don't know, something there, and we sat on, and they took our picture, and one of the guys was up there, he was still looking around the corner. We wasn't sure we had that thing, and I took a little piece, I think a piece of shrapnel, and I was only gone one night, I think, and but anyhow.
Did you get hit by an artillery barrage?
I guess it was artillery, mortar or something. But I got, I think it said blood poison. And I was only in the field all that night. I think that's all one night. And that's what I said. I think they gave you the same thing for that they would have did that if you had your head blowed off.
Where were you wounded? On your body. What part of your body? Right there?
And just, and oh guy, I can't think of his name now. Anyhow, when we took off, I caught up with them. But when I caught up with them, they was in another fight. And I can't think of his name any other time I could think of.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there he was with two medics that working over him. And I said, is he hurt? And they said, no. He said, he ain't hurt. He said, he just, bullet went in the back of his helmet and burned a streak right around his head. And he said, Haugh, he said, they can haul anything they want to, but he said, if they had a head like mine, he said, they'd know something. So everybody by that time, that far in the war, they'd throw their mask, what do they call it, gas mask away, and they put what is that stuff they drink in Germany? And I had a bottle of schnapps, I think it was, and I pulled mine out and give it to him. And so when he could come up, and I saw him, and I said, well, how are you now? He said, I'm all right. He said, but he said, their head wasn't hurting like mine. He said, my head I thought was busted. And I said, did you give him a drink of that stuff? He said, no, sir, I drank it all myself. And so that was the way that went.
While you were in service, did you see any entertainment shows?
No, sir. That's what I said. There only one entertainment. I forget how many of them like maybe a dozen or half a dozen or whatever they started. And most of them they must have stayed chasing the women or whatever. But anyhow, I think a couple of them got killed, but they never caught up with it. We never seen nothing. I sort of say, where did Bob Hope and them do this stuff? We didn't see nothing.
Did you ever run out of supplies?
No, we had, I don't think, I know one time they guys cooked some chicken or something like that, but I mean, other than that, I can't even figure, I don't know what it for. I believe we had to, what was it they called it, the first one? But anyhow, they had powdered milk and stuff for cereal. You could make cereal and stuff like that. And then we had another one, and then we had the last one. I forget what, in the cans. I like that. They good, and had a lot of bacon and stuff like that. You could, and we had a stove, a kerosene stove, but we never carried them very long. We just got rid of them things. And you just eat with it in the can.
Was there any time that you ran out of ammunition while you were on the front?
Oh, no. No. They kept us in, and I don't know whose it was, but we passed a lot of ammunition for big guns stacked along the road. I don't know whether that was Germans and they had to leave them, or whether our own stuff. See, but no. Each company had a Jeep or two, and they kept their ammunition right with us. We never had a bit of trouble with that. I mean, if you run out, it was a temporarily thing. I mean, you could get it right quick, because I had my own Jeep. Of course, it wasn't me. Now I didn't ride on it, and they had the machine gun was on a right post or whatever you call it, like a pipe, and it was made set on that thing, and then you had a machine gun. And I mean, a machine. The M1 Garand was on the driver's side, and on the passenger side it was a water-cooled or air-cooled machine gun. And that's all we had.
Was there any time that you knew that you had to kill people with your machine gun?
Well, that's what I said. If we'd have had the news and stuff like there is now, we'd have been in trouble. Because, I mean, we didn't just bother civilians or anything like that. Just like I had to go in a house one night to, it was raining, and I was going to go in the house, and there was an old woman, and I guess that was her daughter, and they had a little kid. And so I gave them some of that powdered milk, and we took the buildings. We didn't go in there and bother them or nothing like that. No, now there was a little bit when after the Malmedy massacre. You probably heard of that. Mm-hmm. All right, they had a little bit after that, but like I said, they got the women in here now in this thing, and it's a mess. Now, we didn't do that kind of stuff. We had a job to do, and we did it. We didn't go out and shoot people. It was just like they said, that guy shot them people in the ditch, and they court-martialing that lieutenant. No. We didn't do that kind of stuff.
Did you ever see an enemy attack on you?
Ever see him? Oh, yeah. Now you'd shoot then. You'd shoot everything down. I mean, just like going into a town or a city. Whenever they, like I said, we went into the town. That town I probably forgot to tell you, but we sent that Jeep down, and there was 4 or 5 men in those Jeeps. When they come back, I told you the driver and the guy that I can't think of his name before I come. He was shot to both sides. I mean, when they done that to you, you know, they had a chance to surrender. And they would, when you start in, see, the idea was to, what do you call right there? More like an ambush. You think you're going in there, and everything going to be all honky-dory. Well, it wasn't. So you had to, I mean, you had no choice. That's what you was for. Like I said, we didn't have nobody have to tell nobody to make us do something. We was trained. And that's the way we done it. And just like when we got to the Linz, Austria, they told us that about Hitler. There's where he was from, and he'd probably make another bulge out of it, see? And so they wouldn't believe that, and there wasn't. Nobody believed it, I guess. And so if anybody would have done anything, we'd have moved right into it, right away. We was ready for it, and it didn't bother us. I mean, like I said, I don't remember anybody being afraid. I'm not saying that you wasn't concerned or something like that, but you didn't let that stuff dwell on your mind. You was too busy.
Did you have a nickname while you were in the company?
Machine Gun Kid.
Was there any pranks pulled on people during military service?
You mean if American troops are pulling on against somebody else?
A prank pulled within the company?
No.
Was it very businesslike?
Business. I mean, you knew you had a job to do, and nobody told you anything. Only now this is not a reconnaissance. This is a reconnaissance thing. The reconnaissance thing is when you're going and just to capture a couple or whatever. Anyway, like I said, they trained us that when we went on a recon patrol was take a piece of paper, and what you seen, you wrote it down. And when you come back, you had it. When they trained us, they put us put a half a dozen men in there, and somebody would go in and tell them stuff and show them stuff and stuff like that. That's in training. And then they were supposed to go back and say what all they seen. Well, it's just like gossip. When you don't remember everything, and you say too much, or you don't say anything, and you got things all muffed up. But when if you put your stuff down on paper, often you come on the reconnaissance patrol, you had it. I seen this or this, and out there in the forks of the road, or there, this, or something, whatever, whatever you thought would help if you were going into that town or whatever. That's the way you did it.
Did your military service help you after the war?
No. I never got my 4220 or
5220.
5220? No, I didn't get none. They didn't. No, see, come to, what is it, Meade or what is it there around Baltimore?
Fort Meade?
Yeah, they examined me. They didn't give me no examination. And that card I had to, did you ever know it? They gave us a card. I see that reason had to go up there to that woman in Cumberland that signed me in. And she signed, and I had to carry that in my pocketbook because I was still ready to be called for 10 years. Did you know that? Yeah. Yeah. That was the difference. And I wouldn't have thought about it if they called me. I don't know, was we that stupid when we was kids, or what was the matter with us? You hear me how about going over there? Well, I wouldn't want to go over there anyhow if nobody knows what they're doing. And they got these women. I believe I'd have left the Army if they would have had women in it. You can't fight a war like that. I mean, you're oblivious of everything. You don't know nothing but your Army and what you're told. That's the way you was trained.
What did you do for a career after the war?
Went to work at the Kelly Springfield Car Company. I still hunted and stuff like that, and but it wasn't anything. I mean, I don't understand. I think, again, I probably already said it, but if we'd have had this news and the stuff that we got today, we wouldn't have won that war. When I come, you know, just like me, when they started that stuff, Jane Fawn and them, with some of them, and what they did. You see my flags? I went down to Frederick. They were having a gun show, and I bought a gun. I said, when they take my flag, they're going to take me with it. They ain't going to take it.
Are you proud of what you've done during the war?
I don't think. It was something I had to do.
They dedicated a huge monument downtown Washington, D.C. Have you been there to see the monument?
Nope. They didn't do a thing for me. It's like I said, I just swore when I come out of there. She had some of my, some time ago in my ODs. When I come out of there, I brought home just what I wore, my shoes and everything. I didn't get nothing new. Only the Eisenhower jacket. And that thing, see, when we would get a chance to take, you know how they give us a shower in World War II? You go in that big tent and they turned it on, the water. And when you went out of that, all those clothes would lay in there. They might be yours. And I would get what they had marked, what I thought was, and that's the way it went. We didn't, and I never thought about it. Same way when they got done with me down there in whatchamacallit, I hadn't got no shoes. Only the ones that come out. Well, I was lucky they was pretty good shape in my ODs, and she just had a pair of the pants and some time ago, and she threw them away. Because I didn't get no dress clothes.
Did you ever regret doing your duty in Europe?
Was I what?
Regret anything?
No, sir, nothing. No, sir. Not a bit. I did what... Well, it's like I said, I guess my daddy used to say, a dog that wouldn't fight for his box didn't deserve a box. The man wouldn't fight for his country didn't deserve a country. I believe that. How are you going to change me?
Thank you very much for your interview today, Mr. Haugh. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we turn off the camera?
Well, I don't think I'd like to.
Remember the song you had just said, the poem, The Jungleers?
Yeah.
Why did you memorize that?
We had to.
Did you sing this song while you were marching?
Yep. When you see, when we'd go out on a march and come in, the company would be out looking for you, or another company, and we would sing that songs, and we could be dragging. You know, we was wore out, but we would shape up when they put, you know, you know what I mean?
Did you have any really close friends you made?
Oh yeah. Yeah, all of them.
Did you have meetings with them after the war?
No. There wasn't many left, and I got one time, they had one someplace, and I believe it was in New York. But I didn't. Is that...
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Haugh.
Is that that map in there?
The map's on the ground.